Good day, gentlemen. Today I'm coming to you again from the Deanship of the Common Year, Majma University. And again, we are doing the English Second Language course, the online version. I am your teacher, Dale Warren, and I'm doing speaking. And today we are covering Unit 6, Level 1. Our textbook again is the Q Skills for Success book. It is book 1, the listening and speaking book. So again, on your front cover, it should be Q Skills for Success, listening and speaking number 1, and it should be the orange book, as you can see on this picture in the top left-hand corner, an orange book. Okay, if you don't have the book, please pause the video and go and fetch it. Okay, I take it you all now have the book and you can follow me in the book. All right, our lesson contents for today is using the conjunctions and and but, and that is on page 117, and then sourcing information on page 119, and our homework, which I will discuss in detail later, is to complete a survey on page 120. Okay, let us all start off on page 117 using the conjunctions and but. Okay, page 117. Okay, everybody, you should be on page 117, and the section we are looking at looks like this: grammar, conjunctions, and but. All right. Before I start discussing those two words, and but, I need to know that you all understand the meaning of that word conjunction. Okay, everybody please say after me, conjunction. Conjunction. All right. A conjunction is a joining word. A conjunction is a word that will join two other words or two clauses together. So, if we have some examples, Sally likes Verosa, although he does not like her brother. That word, although, is our conjunction. Now, remember what I said, a conjunction is a joining word. In this sentence, Sally likes Verosa is one clause, let us call that clause number 1. And then clause number 2, he does not like her brother. So we have a situation where that word, although, which is a conjunction, a joining word, joins two clauses. It joins clause number 1, Sally likes Feroza, and clause number 2, he does not like her brother. So those two clauses are joined by the conjunction although. Let us look at another example. Hamid eats apples is one clause. So we will call that clause number 1. He can get them at Panda is another clause. So we can call that clause number 2. They are joined by that little word since and like although. Since is a conjunction. Okay, so what since does, it is a conjunction, a joining word, and it joins Hamid eats apples, which is our clause number 1, with clause number 2, he can get them at Panda. Okay, now the two conjunctions we are using today are and but. So that is the first conjunction we are covering today, and that is the second one. These are two of the commonest conjunctions that you find in English, and they can join separate words or they can join clauses. Now, and is used to join or to link two or more similar things. So, Ahmed plays tennis and he plays golf. Ahmed plays tennis, that is one clause, and he plays golf. So we have our conjunction and it links number 1 and number 2. So Ahmed plays tennis and he plays golf. And tennis and golf are two similar things. Now, but is used to join two different things. So I will say Ahmed plays tennis, but he does not play hockey. All right. So my first clause here is Ahmed plays tennis. My second clause, he does not play hockey. All right. So I am joining these two clauses. I'm joining clause number 1, Ahmed plays tennis. I am using the conjunction that, and then I am using it to join to the second clause, he does not play hockey. We use but because here we are saying he does not play hockey. So we are joining two different things. Ahmed plays tennis, but he does not play hockey. If I use another example, Ahmed plays tennis, but Sadi plays golf. Again, we have but as our conjunction. We have clause number 1, and we have clause number 2, Sadi plays golf. All right, but joins those two phrases. Remember, but joins different things. Okay, so if I say Ahmed plays tennis, Ahmed is one person, but Sali is another person. So because Ahmed and Sali are different, we are joining different things, and therefore we are using that word but. If I say Ahmed plays tennis, and then I make my second clause plays golf, then I can use and. I will say Ahmed plays tennis and Ahmed plays golf. And I will use and because and links two or more similar things. But if I am going to say Ahmed plays tennis and then Sadi plays golf, I must use but because but links to different things. So remember the difference here. But is used for different things and is used for similar things. All right. If you have a look in the textbook on page 117 underneath the notes, we must fill in the missing words with either and or but. So what I need you guys to do is read through the sentences and decide for yourself if it should be an and or if it should be a but. Okay, let's just do number 1 as an example. Jane put false information on her resume. It says she has a college degree, but she really doesn't. Doesn't tells you that you use but. Because has a college degree is a positive statement, doesn't is a negative statement. So you know when the things are different, you must use but. All right, so our first answer would be but. So when you are filling things in your book, I want you to put but into number 1. Okay, gentlemen, I need you now to pause the video. What I want you to do is fill in the entire exercise on page 117, and remember, it also goes to the top of the following page, page 118. 6 and 7 are on the top of page 118. You only need to put in either and or but in each of the spaces where the word is missing. All right, so pause the video, fill in the answers, and then we will come back and look at it. All right, everybody, you should have paused the video and done your answers. And now let us go through the answers together. Number 1, Jane put false information on her resume. It says she has a college degree, but she really doesn't. Number 1 is but. Okay, number 2A. Once I found a wallet on the bus. It didn't have any money in it, but it had a lot of credit cards. Number 2B. I took it to the police station and they returned it to the owner. I took it to the police station and they returned it to the owner. 2B is and. Number 3A. It's okay to use sections of an internet article in your paper, but you need to give the author's name. It's okay to use sections of an internet article in your paper, but you need to give the author's name. Number 3B, and you should also give the website where you found it. Number 3B, and you should also give the website where you found it. Number 4, I try to be honest all the time, but sometimes it's impossible. I try to be honest all the time, but sometimes it's impossible. Number 5. Mr. Marcus is a very good businessman. His products are excellent and his prices are fair. Mr. Marcus is a very good businessman. His products are excellent and his prices are fair. Number 5 is and. All right, over the page on number 6. 6a, students who cheat may do well on tests and they may get good grades. Okay, 6a, and students who cheat may do well on tests and they may get good grades, but they don't learn anything. 6b, but they don't learn anything. Okay, you shouldn't lie about your experience to get a job. Your boss might find out and you'll lose your job. Okay, those are our answers. Number 1, but. Number 2a, but. Number 3a, but. Number 3b, and. Number 4, but. Number 5, and. Number 6a, and. Number 6b, but. Number 7, and. Okay. All right. So those should be the answers. It's probably clearer on the biggest screen here. If you don't have those answers written against those fields, go through now, pause the video, go through, check your answers, and make sure that you do have the correct answers. All right. You should have filled in all the correct answers. And the next section we are covering is section 1 on page 119, called Sourcing Information. Okay. Page 119, everybody, in your books, that page, and it is called Sourcing Information. Okay, let us start with the definition. Sourcing information means telling your reader where you found that information. So, to give us an example, my information here is the following words. Diabetics are better controlled if they keep to a low glycemic index diet. Okay, so the information that we are sourcing is this. Diabetics are better controlled if they keep to a low glycemic index diet. That is our information. Sourcing the information means we tell the reader that we found that information per the article by Mr. Hassan Al-Khamri, page 3 of the Lancet on the 30th of the 11th, 2004. So the information is this little bit from diabetics to diet. That is the information. The source of the information is the article by Mr. Al-Khamri. All right. So we do not just give the information diabetics are better controlled if they keep to a low glycemic index diet. We also tell the reader that we got that information from Mr. Hassan Al-Khamri, who wrote an article for the Lancet, and it appeared on page 3 of the Lancet on the 30th of November 2004. Now, why do we have to source our information? The reason we source our information is that we cannot steal another person's ideas or his research. So if Mr. Hassan Al-Khamri found out that diabetics are better controlled if they are on a low glycemic index diet, I cannot write an article and tell you diabetics are better controlled on that diet and not tell you that he found it out, because then I am stealing his ideas or his research. And there is a word for that in English. It is plagiarism. So if you steal the ideas or the research done by another person, then that is plagiarism. So if I give an idea that comes from Mr. Al-Khamri, okay, the ideas are from Mr. Al-Khamri, I must source the information. I have to tell you those ideas came from Mr. Al-Khamri. I cannot tell you it is my own idea. If Mr. Al-Khamri did the research, I have to tell you Mr. Hassan Al-Khamri did this research and he told us about it in the Lancet on that date. I cannot tell you it is my research, because if I tell you it is my research, then I am stealing the research that Mr. Al-Khamri did. And when I steal his research, it is a word called plagiarism. I have plagiarized his research. So when we tell you something that somebody else found out or somebody else's idea, we have to source the information. I must tell you the information, but I must tell you it came from that person. Okay. There are many ways to do this in English. But what we must remember is that we have to tell you certain things. I have to tell you the source of the information, who. I have to tell you the author of the information. I have to tell you where the information can be found. I have to give you the date that the information was published on, and then I can give you the information itself. So if we look at this, I can say, according to an article, and that now I'm telling you I got the information from an article. The source of my information was an article by, and I tell you, Mr. Al-Khamri, and by telling you Mr. Al-Khamri, I give you the author of the article, and then I tell you where the information can be found. It's on page 3 of the Lancet magazine. So if you want to check that information, you can go there yourself. I tell you when the information was published, so you know it is on such and such a date, so you know you must look for the Lancet magazine of November 2004, not the Lancet magazine of February 2007. And then I tell you the information in the actual article. Diabetics are better controlled on a low GI diet. Okay. Now, we can use this format whatever the information was. So it doesn't have to be an article. I can say, according to research by final year medical students Okay, we can publish different information. So I can say, according to research, and now I am naming the research as the source of my information. And in this case, there are several authors, and the people who did the research were the final year medical students. They were the authors, and their information was published on the Tabuk University website, so we know they must have been final year medical students at Tabuk University. And the date the information was published on the website was the 11th of March 2004. And the information they gave us was that 90% of Tabuk students like drifting. So, if I write an article on drifting, I cannot just say 90% of Tabuk students like drifting. I have to tell you that I got that information from the research that was done by the final year medical students and published on the Tabuk University website at such and such a date. Because if I don't tell you all of that information here, then I have plagiarized their research. I have stolen their research from them. Okay. To plagiarize just means to steal. Okay. So when you plagiarize somebody's ideas or somebody's research, you are stealing it. So the reason we have to source the information is that we do not want people to accuse us of plagiarism. If I don't tell you I got this research from Mr. Al-Khamri or I got this research from the Tabuk medical students, then I am guilty of plagiarism. I am guilty of stealing their ideas. Okay. Guys, that is the reason that we always, in any academic publication, will source our information. You have to tell the whole world where you got the information. If you don't tell the whole world where you got the information, then you have plagiarized the research. Okay. Now you understand why we have to source our information. We are going to do a survey on page 120. Okay. If you are on page 120, this page, this is what I want you guys to do for homeworks. So, what you need to do is read through this part of the survey and ask yourself which part on this side joins to which part on that side. And then you take the letter here and the right letter gets moved there. All right. So, if we give you an example, the first answer is C. So, more than half take paper or pens from their company to use at home. So take that C and write that C over there. Okay. I need you guys to do that, to pause the video and to do that. And then we will go through the answers as a listening exercise. Okay. So take some time. C goes over there. Read the other questions and then join them to A, B, D, or E. Okay. All right, you should have completed the exercise and unpause the video. Now we are going to do the answers as a speaking exercise. Listen carefully to me. See which letters go against 2, 3, 4, and 5. If you got it wrong yourself, then you can put the correct answers now. And we are going to do this as a listening exercise. More than half take paper or pens from their company to use at home. So the answer to number 1 is C. Number 2. Over 10% sometimes change the price tag to a lower price for something they want to buy. Okay, over 10% sometimes change the price tag to a lower price for something they want to buy. Whatever is the correct letter on the right hand side, put it next to 2. Okay, moving on to number 3. About 20% give false information on a resume. About 20% give false information on a resume. Again, take the correct letter from here and write it in next to number 3. Number 4. About 60% call in sick to work when they aren't sick. Number 4. About 60% call in sick to work when they aren't sick. Take the correct letter from here and put it next to 4. Number 5. 3/4 sometimes lie to friends or family to avoid hurting their feelings. Number 5. 3/4 sometimes lie to friends or family to avoid hurting their feelings. Okay, take the correct letter from here and put it against number 5. All right, I'm going to do it once more if you didn't get all the answers the first time. So it gives you the chance to do it a second time. Okay, so number 1, more than half take paper or pens from their company to use at home. More than half take paper or pens from their company to use at home. Okay, that is supposed to be a C, but I can't draw very well with this little machine. Okay, so C is number 1. Number 2, I'm going to leave the rest for you guys to complete. Over 10% sometimes change the price tag to a lower price for something they want to buy. Number 2, over 10% sometimes change the price tag to a lower price for something they want to buy. Number 3, about 20% give false information on a resume. About 20% give false information on a resume. Number 4, about 60% call in sick to work when they aren't sick. Number 4 again, about 60% call in sick to work when they aren't sick. And number 5, 3/4 sometimes lie to friends or family to avoid hurting their feelings. 3/4 sometimes lie to friends or family to avoid hurting their feelings. Okay, when you've filled in all the letters, take a photograph of this page and what I want you to do I want you to attach the photo, send it on an email for your speaking teacher, and head the email homework. Okay, so where there's a heading for the email, just put in homework. And so he will see that page with your answers filled in. Thank you very much, guys, and I will see you again next week.